Hi everyone, welcome to MBA Karo. XAT 2024 is 1 month away from now, and it is one of the most difficult exams of MBA entrance. Plus, the institute that you get, which is XLRI, it is at par with the top IIMs and much better than many other institutes. So historically, we have seen that there are some students who could not do well on CAT, but they could perform well on XAT and get into XLRI. Okay, so there is 1 month left for the examination, and in this video, I'm going to tell you what are the things that you need to focus on, which sources you could use for preparation, so that you can maximize your performance. So, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media platforms. Let us understand the pattern of XAT first. I'm sure you already know, if you are a serious aspirant, you already know what is the pattern is. So this is as per the official notification that it is going to be into two parts. First is verbal ability. In this, you have that aptitude part, which is VALR, DM, and QADI. Okay, so this is a section which is specific to XAT. Only XAT has this decision making, and it's an interesting section with quite close options and all. And there is second part in which there is general knowledge plus analytical essay writing, okay, in which you have to type an essay. Now they've given that the number of questions in the XAT typically fluctuates in the range of 100 to 105, including GK. Okay, so last year, if you talk about, the pattern was 26, 22, and it was 28. So 76 questions here, and GK 25 questions, and one question on essay. Okay, so 26, that makes it 102. Sometimes the number of questions have been 75 and so on. So generally, this is the number of questions. Each section will typically contain between 22 to 30 questions. The total number of questions will not exceed 100, including those focused on general knowledge. So they've given that it will not exceed 100. Okay, so let's see. Now, general knowledge and essay sections will not influence the cutoff score. So your cutoff that you get for interviews is based on this. Their evaluation is done on the later part. During the interview stage, they evaluate you on GK and essay writing. So it is sort of VAT and your like general awareness test. So you should not be doing very bad in that, and even if you do not do very good in that, that does not impact. Okay, so like if you are able to cut off clear the cutoff in these sections and overall cutoff, you are called for the interview, and then they evaluate these things later. Okay, so as it is clearly mentioned, it does not affect your initial test result, but that does not mean that you should not focus on these things. Okay, now this was the pattern last year. As I said, that there is a time duration for this test. It consisted of 175 minutes. Prior to that, it was 170 minutes. Okay, so this is the distribution, and 30 minutes for general knowledge, right? Now, one good thing about XAT, unlike CAT, is there is no sectional time in this. So in CAT, you had 40, 40, 40. Let us say you could not attempt like DILR set, right? Your DILRs went bad, okay, or you could not attempt enough quant questions in the QA section. So that is what happens in CAT. But in this case, in XAT, you can maximize your score in one of the sections. Let us say your quant is strong, so out of 28, you can, let us say, you can attempt 20 plus, you get a score of 20 plus in quant itself, maybe. And generally the cutoffs are in single digits, right? So may some 7 8 questions in VALR and decision making, and 9 or 10 in quant. So suppose your quant is strong, you get 20 here, and you 12 here, and 8 here, so you get a score of 40. So this way you can play around with the scores. And it depends on the difficulty level of the paper also. Cutoffs vary each year. So do not go by past year cutoffs, because every year the level differs, and sometimes there are wrong questions. For those you get the marks, right? So don't go by those numbers. So just try to understand that you can maximize your score in one of the sections or two of the sections. Let us say you are a verbal person, your verbal ability is very strong, so you can devote a significant amount of time out of these 175 minutes. Let us say you give 80 minutes to this section, okay, and you scored well on this, and then 40 45 minutes here. So you can play around with that. So you can attempt this paper strategically, unlike CAT. More, you can deploy better strategy than CAT. Okay, and this is general knowledge 25 questions plus essay that you need to do in 30 minutes. Now let us talk about the distribution of last year. Okay, XAT 2023. So it had four RCs of three questions each. Then there was a poem of two questions. So this is generally the pattern of XAT. Like VALR, out of 26 questions, you have 14 in RC, and VA you have the remaining part is 12, right? So this is generally the distribution. Four RCs of three questions each, and they give a poem that is necessarily they give. So you have to understand the poem and answer the questions. If you can, good. If you cannot, attempt the RCs, right? And then in the VA section, they have critical reasoning. So every year they have around 4 to 6 questions on critical reasoning, right? That is certain. So like we also, you can call it half of critical reasoning plus some of kind of questions like errors, fill in the blanks, parajumbles, etc. So these are the kind of questions they have. So it covers your grammar part as well, and the verbal part. Okay, so this is the structure. Now, if you are good at RC, so you stand a good chance here in scoring well, because you have four RCs here. And if your critical reasoning is also strong, so if your critical reasoning is strong, basically you will be able to do RCs also good. That is an assumption that mostly people who are good at critical reasoning tend to do well on RCs as well, because the kind of questions are inference based, etc. Okay, so this is the structure of VALR. Now, talking about the preparation, how can you prepare for this section? The best is past ZAT papers, right? The ZAT papers are available till 2023. You can get since early 2000s. So all those papers, if you do, that is a good enough source of preparation. Past CAT papers, RCs and parasymbols, you can practice from them, and you can practice critical reasoning from GMAT Club. Critical reasoning is also important. As I said, that around 4 to 6 questions come from this topic as well. So there is enough material available for practice. You do not have to search for कोई book लेनी है क्या करना है. Papers are available. Download them and attempt those questions. Understand how they are done. Now the second section is decision making. Till last year, before 2023, it used to be 7 into 3. Okay, 7 into 3, it had 21 questions. Last year they had 8 sets, 6 of 3 3 each and 2 of 2 2 each. Right now they give you some situation, and based on those situations you have to answer question. Okay, so they will give you some case that something has happened. It could be some business related issue, it could be some ethical issue, it could be some public policy related issue, some government needs to do something, or it could be some strategy based issue. There is some kingdoms are fighting, all those kind of things. So for this, the best source is past year papers. You go through past year papers every year. You have so many sets. Go through them, understand them. There are certain thumb rules that you can apply, that what answers to reject, what answers to keep. Although this is the most debatable section of that. Okay, every year people are not satisfied with the answers. That happens every year. Okay, so you can do is learn some basic methods, and then rest is up to their final decision what they give as the answer key. But some of the questions can be solved. Some questions are very tricky in this. I mean, you can't help. Like most of the aspirants fail to answer them correctly because people think in a different dimension. So ultimately, it is the paper setter's mind that is going to give you points. But yes, you can practice through past year papers, and like as I said, that a lot of past year papers are available. You can get enough number of questions from those and understand the basics, that how to eliminate certain cases like extreme cases. You should not be passive, right? It should be a win-win situation, etc. You need to be ethically correct. ऐसे कुछ scenarios होते हैं. So I'll conduct a workshop on that, explaining those, and you need to work on those things. Now QA and DI, if we talk about, it has DI plus quant. So DI last year there were two sets, sometimes it is three sets also. Two to three sets you can expect, like last year there were six questions, sometimes it has been eight, sometimes it has been 10 also. Okay, then there can be graph based, there can be logic based also. So recently 2022, 2021 they had logical DI also. So DI is 8 to 10 plus DS, and if you see the distribution of other parts, right? In this, you have good number of questions in number system, geometry, and mensuration. Okay, so unlike in CAT, where arithmetic used to rule until CAT 2023, CAT 2023 was like algebra ज़्यादा हो गया था, but until 2023, arithmetic was the most significant part. Arithmetic followed by algebra and geometry. But in CAT, you won't find too much of arithmetic. It has a good number of questions on geometry, mensuration, and number system also. So if you have not prepared those things well, please do brush up, because बहुत सारे questions आते हैं number system से, geometry mensuration से, area of shaded portion, triangles, circles, etc., etc. Lot of questions being asked. Okay, so focus on these things as well. Algebra, modern math, everything is being tested. So unlike CAT, wherein you leave number system and modern math, you say कि एक दो ही question आते हैं, that can be tackled. Here there are significant number of questions, so you need to be prepared on all fronts. Now, sources of preparation, you can refer to past XAT papers, you can refer to CAT papers, you have IFT. There used to be an examination called IFT, which got scrapped this year itself. It also had similar kind of questions. And remember, XAT questions are very lengthy. XAT के जो quant के questions होता है, they are lengthy. So इस बार के जो CAT के पेपर आए, solve these past papers, but do solve CAT 2023 के papers. These are some really good quant questions. So इससे आपका confidence बढ़ेगा अगर आप इन्हें solve करोगे. So you will get to know कि अच्छा difficult questions भी attempt किए जाते हैं. So XAT mostly has difficult questions. You need to be selective. You need to know your areas of strength. Let us say you know geometry well. Attempt those geometry based questions. See, XAT is a long game. It's a marathon, right? You have to sit for 3 hours, almost 3 hours, 175 minutes, and attempt those questions. So unlike CAT, wherein time runs out very fast, here time is enough, but the questions will be intense. They contain a lot of data. You have to read each and every line very carefully. So even if you are slow, pick certain questions, and as I said that you can maximize your score in one or two of the sections. So try doing that. And as I mentioned previously, focus on geometry number system, because this is something which is often asked in good number. You may have geometry as the most significant portion in quant. हो सकता है geometry से 6 क्वेश्चन आए, arithmetic algebra से 4 ही आए. Geometry and mensuration is important. Even number system, they ask a good number of questions. So be prepared on these topics as well. Now, the GK part, it had like it is almost a mix of static and current affairs. So I'll tell you the list of topics that you need to prepare for current affairs and static, right? Do read about international and national affairs, business and economy, sports, awards, obituaries, appointments, corporate appointments, government appointments, science and technology. So around 3 to 4 months, maybe from August to December would do. So cover current affairs from August to December. And in static, they ask about history, geography, economy, brands. Okay, Indian polity brands. They might ask कि car को match करो कौन सी company की है, etc. Science and technology, sports, books and authors, important days, arts and culture, places. Like they might ask you to map national park to the place, or national park with the animal, etc. Airports, all these things they ask. Right, so these are the broad categories. Go through past papers, you will understand that what are the topics that have been frequently tested. Okay, I would say that do not ignore this, and at the same time do not put too much effort also, because it is not counted in your cutoff. So out of 25, even if you get 8 to 10 questions, that's good enough. कोई नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं होती. अटेम्प्ट ऑल क्वेश्चंस. ठीक है, 5-6 अगर आते हैं, बाकी 20 अगर आपने तुक्के भी मार दिए, उसमें से 3 2-3 भी सही होगा, तो 7-8 इट्स अ गुड अटेम्प्ट, राइट? डू नॉट टारगेट कि नहीं मुझे 25 में से 20 स्कोर करना है, 18 प्लस करना है, नो. Even if you score 8 to 10 questions, that's fine. Since there is no cutoff in GK, they are evaluated at a later stage, and people often score like 8 to 12 or so. Because GK is, you need to prepare for a very long time to ace that thing. So even if you are okay with it, that's fine. Not needed that you need to be pro in GK. But these are some of the topics that you can focus on. These were the topics of essay writing. They had removed that essay writing part previously and reintroduced it last year. So they will give you three topics, and you need to write essay on it, right? So it could be generic topic, business topic, strategy topic, some current issue based topic. Okay, so you just need to type. So they give you three choices. So ideally, if you read things, if you are well read, खाली एग्जाम प्रिपरेशन के अलावा और चीज भी पढ़ते रहते हो, योर जनरल अवेयरनेस इज गुड, यू नो अबाउट दीज थिंग्स, एंड योर राइटिंग स्किल्स आर गुड, यू विल बी एबल टू डू, बिकॉज तीन में से कोई एक तो टॉपिक आप लिख ही लोगे. सो डोंट नीड टू worry too much about this part as well. Okay, so for XAT preparation, we do not have any mock test or course as such, but we'll be doing some sessions on YouTube that will include solutions of XAT past year papers to understand how to approach questions, the best approach to solving questions, a decision making workshop. So tell you how to tackle question, what are some of the basics, some hygiene factors that you need to maintain while solving decision making, along with some examples, and quant and DI marathons as we approach the examination. And most important, that gives the boost to most aspirants, GK sessions, right? So ये मेरे GK sessions को लोग बहुत डिमांड करते हैं हर बार, ठीक है. Until last year they used to be IFT, तो IFT के में तो कट ऑफ होती है, that I used to conduct those. So there are some students who like these sessions, so we will conduct GK sessions also for that, so that that will help you कि बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं भी पढ़ोगे, कुछ कुछ चीज़ें देख के चले जाओगे, you will be able to do decent in GK as well. So please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and that will keep you updated as we conduct some sessions on that on our YouTube channel. So we'll be starting those past year solutions very soon, and that will give you a boost. And I already told that what are the sources that you need to prepare for that. Like if you're prepared, like आपने कहीं से coaching की है या कुछ सीखा हुआ है, concepts are clear, it just requires practice and practice. And I told you already, told you the sources, past year papers are the best source. Practice well so that you will be able to do well on this examination. So wishing you all the best.